Here's a tip. Let's say you bet big on a 4-game moneyline parlay. Your first 3 bets have hit, but you're a little nervous about the last game. Consider placing a separate bet against the team you have winning in your parlay. You're technically a winner either way. Now, go get lucky. See you in Lost Pages. Let's get lucky.
We're going to get a bunch of upsets. We're going to get a lot of craziness. Didn't happen as well. I mean, over the last calendar year, Sam, I don't ever recall 6 or 8 months of time in sports where the books lost, but here we are.
They estimate FanDuel and DraftKings lost $185 million combined for March Madness. So estimating not just that they didn't have a profitable March Madness, but it was a huge loss for them as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The 2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Sacramento State makes a Shaq-sized splash, hiring the All-Stars, their new general manager. And sorry, LeBron, CBS Mornings anchor Nate Burleson tells us why Christmas is now the NFL's big day. Hey, and welcome to Front Office Sports Today, where sports is big business. From FOS Studios here in New York City, I'm Baker Machado.
And I'm Renee Washington, and thank you guys so much for joining us on our first episode. Every weekday, Baker and I will be chatting about the biggest stories in sports, business, and culture. And we've got more information to get on into later in the show, but first, let's kick things off with some other headlines we've been keeping an eye on in the shoot-around.
Yes, indeed, and let's start with someone who's getting paid today, Renee. That is George Kittle, the 49ers tight end, announcing on the Bussin' with the Boys podcast that he has signed a new 4-year, $76 million deal. This is going to keep him in SF for the rest of his career, most likely. $40 million of that, Renee, guaranteed money.
Yeah, with that AAV of $19.1 million, it does make him the highest paid tight end, passing Trey McBride's $19 million, so just edging him out slightly. What I like about this is George Kittle said earlier this offseason he wants to be the highest paid tight end, got that deal done, was able to negotiate during the offseason camp, and for San Francisco now, one of their biggest offensive pieces they lock in because you also have Brock Purdy, who's sitting going into his final year of his contract. So looking at already losing Deebo Samuels, they could not have afforded to lose George Kittle as well. So massive for San Francisco.
Absolutely. And of course, his 9 years with San Francisco, 1 year away from being in that elusive or an exclusive 10-year club with the 49ers. Only 51 other Niners players
and
are
honestly,
in that club.
When you are someone like George Kittle that's been one of 4 tight ends that have had multiple 1,000+ yards in a season, you deserve to be the highest paid tight end in NFL history.
Amen. Some of his stats and some of his deals you see right there on your screen. All right, elsewhere, Fox Sports 1 has fired the head of the network, Charlie Dixon. This after he was named a defendant in multiple sexual harassment lawsuits by a former network hairstylist and a former studio host in Julie Stewart-Binks. Now, Dixon has denied the allegations. He said in a statement you see right there on your screen to Front Office Sports that he was actually fired for hiring his wife as a freelancer, Renee.
That is the interesting part about this. The network did come out saying he was let go for violating company policy because he did not get it approved by HR, even though it was alleged that he did get approved through another source or pathway. So it wasn't specifically about the lawsuits for Dixon's firing. It was specifically regarding the inability to follow company policy. So we're still waiting. I know there are still the conversations. Our own FOS exclusive from Ryan Glassfiegel has been breaking down all the updates around this story. It's developing, and we'll have more updates, but the lawsuits are still in the works of being settled and discussed.
Yeah, and of course, Skip Bayless, the former FS1 host, was named in this, as well as Joy Taylor, who was actually sidelined for a few weeks on Fox Sports. All right, sliding to the 5th round, that didn't hurt Shedeur Sanders' jersey sales. That is the new Browns quarterback is number 3 right now on the NFL Shop's list of the highest selling jerseys from the draft, behind Travis Hunter's Jaguars jersey, as you see right there, which is number 1. And actually, number 1 pick Cam Ward, his Titans jersey is number 2 on the list. How is Shedeur Sanders ahead of Ashton Genty on this list? That's so interesting.
Yeah, but Baker, this is so on brand with the NFL draft viewing and ratings alone. I mean, that day 2, I know we talked about it off the show, for day 2 of the draft to be so high, for one of the highest paid NIL valuation players coming out of college in Shedeur, it's no surprise that he continues to have that same success in terms of jersey sales. So when you see the 40% boost on day 2 from 2024 in the NFL draft and all that Shedeur has racked up, it makes sense that the jersey sales follow suit, even though he still doesn't have a number.
Yes,
it's 00. He still doesn't have an official number, yet here he is with the highest jersey sales. No other Browns pick was in the top 10, and is the only one that was not a first-round pick in that top 10 list. So I'm curious to see at the end of the season where he's going to stack, or if any rookies compare in the top 10 overall. Last year was Christian McCaffrey, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts. Will we get a Shedeur Sanders or maybe another rookie? Travis Hunter, possibly, in that top 10 jersey sales.
You're so right, because Travis Hunter, number 12, Cam Ward getting Warren Moon's old number 1, and Shedeur Sanders 00 because he doesn't have a number yet. So I love people who will have this old Shedeur Sanders jersey that is just 00 until he actually gets his new number. But either way, hilarious stories there. And of course, you mentioned the ratings for day 2 of the draft, and even day 1, but day 2, the biggest that the NFL
That's the Shedeur effect. I don't think it's a Caitlin Clark-esque effect fully, but I think we are getting a Shedeur Sanders effect for sure.
All right, let's head on over to Sacramento State, guys. They were going full diesel as the school with only 2 winning seasons since 1991 hired Shaq, that guy, as their new men's basketball general manager, furthering a trend of athletes heading back to college in either a coaching or a front office role. So let's break it all down in our main event. Okay, so Sacramento State, as I mentioned, only 2 winning seasons since 1991. So what does Shaq bring a school like Sacramento State, Renee?
Well, this is just the latest of many changes that the university's been making ever since hiring Dr. Luke Wood back in July of 2023. The young administrator has been bringing a whole new change to this college, and it started on the football side. They're building a new stadium. They've been making massive hirings. You brought in Mike Bibby on the basketball side, his first ever college basketball coaching opportunity, and to now bring in Shaq, an 18-year NBA veteran, an analyst, Dr. Shaquille O'Neal, that's going to come in with this pedigree as a 4-time NBA champ. We went from shattering backboards to now shattering business deals. I think it's massive for just the direction that this university is going, that's been already making such a change in their overall athletics, and also because they've been actively trying to become a winning program, become a winning school that's involved in bigger conferences, bigger opportunities, and I think Shaq is just the latest of that massive opportunity.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned this, because is this Sacramento State trying to join the newly looked Pac-12? Pac-12 still has one more football school that needs to get into that conference for them to be eligible for bowl games, and a lot of talk is maybe centered around Sacramento State, and it's because, as you mentioned, they're dumping so much money into all of their athletics. Michael Vick hired as their football coach. They have a new football stadium coming out. They have this basketball stadium. Shaq's son is now on the team, but Shaq is taking this as an unpaid voluntary role. I mean, look, he's got so much money that he's got out there, but how much time do you think he's actually going to be able to dedicate to something
We've
like
already
this?
learned Shaq's 24 hours are not anybody else's 24 hours.
True.
He's working with a different clock throughout the course of the day. The fact we're even talking about Sacramento State and it's trending and it's viral is exactly why they bring somebody in like Diesel.
Right.
Because it does bring now conversation around the university that wasn't had before. And they're trying to build. I mean, you talked about the losing seasons, just 2 going back to 91. And as a program, to add him, it helps with NIL, it helps with recruiting. This is a guy that from Newark, New Jersey, where he was born, has been able to get his doctorate degree. He's been able to win NBA championships. He's been an all-star, an MVP, finals MVP. He's had all the basketball accolades. But on the business side, he was able to take what was a $286 million earnings in his NBA career and nearly doubled that to be someone that's worth $500 million in his net worth because of the business opportunities. You look at all the different ventures Shaq's involved in. I don't know what Shaq is not involved in. That actually might be a shorter list because he literally has had his hands in so many different aspects beyond. We just talk inside the NBA and see him on TV, but there's so much he's doing behind the scenes, and I think that's why bringing him in to help mature and grow and teach these young players and men about business basketball in an NIL era is he's a walking NIL.
Yeah, it's so true. But also, it's this trend that we're seeing of other athletes going to either their alma maters or to other parts of the coaching tree or front office tree at other universities. I mean, look at this right here. Just from Woj leaving ESPN and the millions on the table to go to his alma mater. You have Steph Curry becoming the assistant general manager of his alma mater at Davidson. Same thing with Trae Young at Oklahoma. And then Terrence Mann also at Florida State as well. And then, you know, it drives the NIL, but it also drives the promotional aspect, because it's like, who doesn't want to go play for a guy like Shaq or Steph Curry if you're getting sort of the blessing from them to be on the team?
Yeah, and I love that in interviews years ago, Shaq was talking about how Amazon founder Jeff Bezos inspired him to understand, if I don't believe in it, I'm not going to invest in it. Like investing in things that are making positive changes. This is exactly what this is about. It's not even just about his son being on the team and being able to coach be involved, I should say, in Shaquille O'Neal's journey as he transferred over from Florida A&M. It's also about helping mold a whole generation of players. That's what every single Woj, Steph, all these other players are doing, is to give back, to leave the game better than they were in part of it.
Absolutely. All right, guys, coming up next on Front Office Sports Today, we're joined in studio by the great Nate Burleson. He has some words for LeBron about the NFL taking over on Christmas Day, which, of course, he was on that coverage as well. We've got that interview plus a lot more Front Office Sports Today right after this break.
Shoot 2 of 17 from 3 and think you're beating Steph and Jimmy Buckets, a.k.a. Playoff Jimmy, Playoff him, Himmy, whatever you want to call him. You can't shoot that bad and compete in the playoffs versus the Warriors. SGA wasn't even that good. You want to talk about non-competitive series? People want to talk about getting rid of play-in. Maybe we need to get rid of the 8 seed, because this 8 seed got their ass.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Second game of doubleheader. We don't know exactly who's going to be in the lineup, and maybe you get an extended game number 1, which means tired bullpens and closers used up, which aren't available for game number 2, and maybe finding some extra shots here. But I do think the pitching matchup more susceptible, Tom, to runs here.
This is part of what we look at. Like I said, I don't expect both teams to win. So we have a pitcher who may not be sustainable at 28.6, but he's playing well right now.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You don't think that there's something to the fact that they blow all these leads against the Edmonton Oilers? It's like the Oilers could be down 4 goals and they come back like it's nothing.
We got a series now. I think this thing is going to reset, Scott. I think home ice advantage is going to hold true in this series. I think I told you that last week. I'm expecting this. I picked the Kings in 7 before the series started, and it's like plus 700.
Pharrell, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
It's so crazy that you get both ends of that spectrum, and the narrative trying to be correct in doing so and to make a statement for engagement. You're wrong, you've been wrong, and deal with the reality of the situation.
All of the people that analyze the draft mocked one in the first round, and even could he go to the Giants at number 3 or trade up back in that round. They got Gart, they didn't get Sanders, and the fall was on at that point.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
And welcome back, everyone, to Front Office Sports Today. Nate Burleson is pretty much everywhere these days on CBS, Nickelodeon, and even Hollywood Squares. And he had enough time to join us in studio to talk about the NFL and a lot more. Take a look. Nate, thank you so much for joining us. We'll talk about CBS, media, all that stuff here in a second, but let's talk football first. Some new technological changes for the NFL with the yard line technology and a bunch of other things. How do you sort of feel like the NFL, compared to other leagues, maybe the NBA, has done in terms of changing and altering the rules, especially when it comes to new technology?
Yeah, listen, they started a while ago with trying to make the game safer, and then they've been hearing the whispers asking the NFL if they're going to usher in some of this newer tech. This is an old school sport, and we have a lot of traditional fans. But at the same time, there is this youthful audience, this youthful demographic that really leans on technology. And they're like, yo, what's up? Like, how are we not utilizing everything that we see in all these other leagues? Then you really just leave it up to people to watch it instead of waiting until after the game and saying, oh, they screw it and blew that game. It's all fixed. You know, I hate those storylines because there's no way you can fix an NFL game. That's just absolutely ridiculous.
And you would know, obviously.
I would know. You can't fix an NFL game. There's too many variables.
Right, of course.
Like, yeah, there might be a blown call here or there.
Right.
There might be a superstar that gets a lenient no call, but you can't fix an NFL game.
Also, in terms of changes, even from the media landscape, I mean, Netflix adding all of these Christmas Day games.
Yeah.
There's now 3 Christmas games,
Yeah.
one on Amazon coming up. You were part of that.
Yeah.
What was sort of your idea and your mindset on the NFL coming in on Christmas? Because this was always traditionally the NBA's day, but now it seems like the NFL's taken it over, and it's been incredibly successful.
Money talks and all the rest walks. Come on now. Netflix and Amazon, let's just keep it real. Let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
They were like, look, the NBA has dominated Christmas for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
We want in on the action. And the NFL was like, all right, talk to me nicer, don't talk to me twice. Come with the dollars, or I'm gonna let you guys deal with Christmas how you want to with the movies that you're showing. And listen, the dollar sign was right, but more importantly, all jokes aside, it was how they produced it up. They did a great job of not just producing up the game, but also the halftime shows were entertaining.
Right.
And for the first time in a long time, I believe that the NFL has cemented its position on that day that was notoriously known as an NBA day. Shout out to LeBron.
Yeah, I was going to say, LeBron.
Said, like, the NBA is, what did he say? The NBA
He said this was the NBA, Christmas is the NBA's day. Yeah.
No, Bronny. My bad. I don't want to call you Bronny. That's disrespectful. Bronny is your son.
Yes.
Bron.
Yes.
The NFL is king. Football is king. You know that. You the king.
Right.
So you know football is king. This is how I knew the NFL has successfully replaced the NBA on Christmas Day.
Okay.
I was watching TV, waiting for some type of cool promo for the NBA, some guys shooting into the nets with the jingle bells, or Santa Claus dribbling, something.
And?
There was nothing.
Yeah.
They did not market Christmas Day. They didn't go big like they used to.
No.
That's because they realized the NFL is here. It's here to stay.
And do you love doing the Christmas games? I mean, I know you just did it just recently.
Yeah, it's fun. You know, we spent the Christmas in Pittsburgh. The family was hanging out with me, and we watched the game. It was fun. We enjoyed it. You know, shout out to Pittsburgh and everybody there. We had a good time. But it's an opportunity for me to, one, be in the booth. You know, I'm in studio most of the time for every show that I'm on, so I get to flex a different type of muscle, and it feels good to be on the field. I don't oftentimes get to see the guys that I talk about because I've been in studio for so long, so it feels good to walk on the field in the pregame and, you know, guys call me Unc and Grandpa. I appreciate that.
When we were at the Super Bowl, we were talking to Brian Roloff at the NFL.
Yep.
And he was talking
Shout
about
out to
how we love Brian Roloff.
Yep.
His whole thing was like with the Manning cast, with the Nickelodeon cast, you're getting viewers who maybe don't want to watch the regular game, but in different ways you're finding other ways to get them involved.
For sure.
And you're obviously part of the Nickelodeon telecast. What's your sort of mindset going into something like that? And do you like the idea of the NFL having other platforms that are broadcasting the game in different ways?
Yeah, it's great for the game. Listen, I'm an 80s baby. I was raised in the 90s, so I'm influenced by those 2 decades, and it was part of the Nickelodeon era. So I've seen every era, and I have a 20-year-old, an 18-year-old, and a 14-year-old, well, soon to be 21, 19, and 15. But I've seen every single era of Nickelodeon, and I realize how impactful it is and the reach that they have. So being able to call the game and have this perfect marriage between the NFL and Nickelodeon, it only just reestablishes the idea that there is an opportunity to reach new fans, you know, and there's different ways to do it. There's still families that have to make a decision on Sundays whether they're going to sit there with Grandpa, who really loves the Packers, and watch football, or if they're going to watch some family-friendly content. What we do is marry both of those things. And the biggest compliment that we get is that it's entire families that are watching. I just had an interview with Asia Wilson. Shout out. She's a GOAT. And as we get done doing the interview, she's like, that's where I recognize you from. And I'm thinking, because, you know, I'm a former receiver and I got a big old ego, that she's going to be like, I remember when you played, you were amazing. Or she's probably going to say, you know, I love what you do on CBS with the NFL or in morning news.
Wait.
She was like, I watch NFL Slime Time. And I'm like, what? I'm like, you watch NFL? She's like, I love the show. It's fun.
That.
So that just put things in perspective. Like, there's fans of all ages.
MVPs are watching this. You
so
know?
I thought that was dope. So it really just kind of confirms that what we're doing is working.
There was one quote you said in Esquire that really stood out to me. You said, working in the media is actually harder
100%.
Than working in football.
No doubt.
Explain that.
I was blessed and gifted physically, so I just had to improve on the skill set that I already had after I left high school and college to play in the NFL. Hard work, yes. Did we work our asses off? For sure. It is not easy by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not being dismissive to the game or athletes that play the game. They know exactly what I mean when I say that. But there is a different type of muscle when you are working in news. On any given week, I'm reading 4 or 5 books because we have 5 authors coming in. And that's just not to mention being prepared for what's going on politically, socially. And then we're still going to entertain, so we have to cover pop culture, movies, music, and TV. The biggest compliment that we get on our show at CBS Mornings, and shout out to Gil, King, Tony DeCopo, and Vlad, and of course everybody else that works on the show, is that we actually put the effort in to read the books, watch the movies, and watch the shows. Yeah. It means so much more than any other trophy I've ever won.
And on top of that, getting the coveted Asia Wilson Nickelodeon endorsement is even bigger than that.
No, and she sent me some shoes. Shout out to Asia Wilson, man.
Amen. Nate Burleson, thank you so much for joining us. Of course, you can watch Nate on pretty much everything on CBS News, Nickelodeon, and of course, Hollywood Squares as well. We got more Front Office Sports today coming your way.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're gonna go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's gonna help me get the job done. There is not gonna be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
That was the magic of Tiger to me. Why did my mom care about when Tiger was playing? Because you might see something with every shot that you've never seen before. And that was, to me, the magnetic quality. And those guys have a little bit of that, but there aren't a ton of them. So to have those guys in the mix on the big weeks is great for the game.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
And welcome back, everyone, to Front Office Sports Today with Renee Washington. I'm Baker Machado, and it's big business right now to be Wrexham AFC, the club that Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney bought for just $2.5 million just a few years ago, is one step away from being in the English Premier League. So for more insight, let's bring in our editor-in-chief over at Front Office Sports, Dan Roberts, for more. So how are they able to do this in just a short period of time, Dan?
Got to win on the field, first of all. And the biggest pitfall of owning an international soccer team, of course, there's promotion and relegation, as we're discussing. You don't have that in the U.S., right? So it can be really exciting. I mean, promoted 3 seasons in a row, that is amazing. That's the dream. But when you get relegated and you get knocked down to the lower tier, then you got to spend big to get back. So I think having the celebrity owners has been huge for this team, but also they've spent to bring in the better players and win on the field. And now that they're one step away from the ultimate, the big dance, the Premier League, as our colleague Eric Fisher wrote, you can think about it as jumping into the deep end of the pool. If they get there, they are going to be swimming with the big fish, and it's going to mean spending a lot more, putting your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, I mean, the club's now worth over $133 million. And when you look at the fact that it's really, as you mentioned, difficult to crack into, European soccer is not like American sports. It's not, a draft and other things. You have to deal with transfer fees, and acquiring players is much more expensive. That's why the Premier League, in terms of revenue, is double the next highest European league in La Liga and Bundesliga in what they generate each year. So for this ascension, for Wrexham AFC to have the show that has won them 8 Grammys, to have the success of League One to Champions League, how special when you look at the bigger picture of what these two and Rob and Ryan are able to do to take this small community and build it to be a top European club.
Yeah, I mean, I think on one hand, I'm tempted to say that too often these celebrity owners get too much credit, and it's like, they're just the faces. But in this case, I think they really deserve a lot of credit. I mean, it's brand awareness, it's fandom. You mentioned the show and the Emmys. I mean, sure, like the show is really big with making a person who's not that into European soccer or football pay attention. Everyone knows Wrexham. Everyone knows that Reynolds and McElhaney own it. But also, you got to win on the field, right? And let's mention here, you talk about the revenues of the bigger tier. Wrexham was already, they had $35.6 million in revenue in this last season, which puts them really very close to the average revenues for the Champions tier that they'll now be in. So they were already kind of out-punching their weight class, so to speak. They're ready to be with those bigger dogs. But again, you got to win to get there. Now they want to do a stadium improvement or a stadium expansion. So it's sort of like you spend to buy the team, although $2.5 million, we're talking about pennies compared to NFL, MLB, NBA. But they're actors. They don't have the billions that the billionaire American team owners have. So they bought $2.5 million, and then you're not done spending. You got to keep spending, right? Especially in this European soccer world.
Yeah, Bloomberg just said their recent valuation is now at $133 million, so a 5,200% increase from what they bought a few years ago. We have 60 seconds left, but is this why you see so many celebrities, athletes wanting to become owners of teams now?
Well, so that's a really good question, or at least what you're getting at here. Would they sell? And the problem is, if they sell, I got to imagine that valuation goes way down. Because right now, and again, they're good on the field. That's great. And the revenues have grown. That's great. But a big part of the draw and the awareness and the excitement is Rob and Ryan. So if they did this just as an investment, which I don't think they did, and certainly they would never say they did, time will tell. But let's say in 2 years they get out and they want an exit. I don't know then what happens. I don't know who buys it next. But yes, everyone wants a team right now because the franchise valuations are soaring, both in the States and outside the States. As you and I talked about recently, Renee, also you've got a lot of American money flooding into European sports. If you're an athlete or a Hollywood actor, someone with some money to play with, you want to own a piece of a sports team.
Yeah, very good point. Dan Roberts, our editor-in-chief, thank you so much. And guys, let's see what's bubbling over at the FOS water cooler. All right, so Renee, we're all still recovering from that super awkward interview that Bill Belichick gave CBS Sunday Morning over the weekend.
Not going to talk about that.
That, of course, where his 24-year-old girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, is overheard shouting for Belichick not to answer certain questions about how they met in particular. But now TMZ is saying that Hudson got so heated, Renee, by the questions, she actually stormed out of the interview, delaying taping by half an hour. TMZ is reporting that sources close to UNC are really perplexed by this.
Well, for clarification, if anybody missed the video, she actually interrupted the interview saying, like, we're not going to talk about that, which is why I was making my joke. So in case it went over someone's head, I was like, someone might think that I'm being weird. But I will say, this 24-year-old that has Bill Belichick wrapped around her finger, people around him have indicated they're alarmed. They said she's a runaway train. They said they're concerned about how this is going to impact his new job as head coach at UNC. We're talking about a guy that's won multiple Super Bowl championships, a guy that has a legacy that he's building, and at 73 is on the tail end of that. And then here comes this new manager, social media, interview, PR person. She wears many hats. It's concerning because she is literally stepping on his toes. And Baker, I don't understand what's happening here.
No, me neither.
His family allegedly saying they have to like tread lightly. They don't want to say too much, but they're concerned.
Yeah,
and I'm concerned.
I would too, given the fact that how many trophies and awards this guy has won, and it's just so interesting to see this. All right, guys, join us back here tomorrow as ESPN's Ryan Ruocco and Shanae Ogumwuke will join us to chat the NBA playoffs and a lot more. You can find FOS Today episodes on YouTube and wherever you find your podcast weekdays at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. See you tomorrow.
New to casinos and not sure what to play? Well, try blackjack first. It has a lower house advantage compared to other table games, making it especially player-friendly. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of thoughts.
18.5 points live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
We know your other brother Marv did the Knicks forever, but you've done just about every team in the league. You did Ames. You did Dr. J games.
But after 45 years in this crazy business, people kept telling me, you got to write a book. So I did, and here it is.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
If you're going to trade Durant, right, it means things are getting weird anyway. Teams are going to, before they go for Durant, they're going to go for Devin Booker. That's just the reality of it.
You get rid of Durant, or do you do the crazy one? Because you're so far out of the West, do you get rid of Booker? Because D-Book will bring you far more in a return.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
What did I sneak up on you? Were you waiting? The wait is over. It's Game Time Decisions right here on a Tuesday night. Kevin Walsh with you on SportsGrid. 90 minutes on the clock. We look to set it up and knock it down. 4 games in the NBA postseason tonight. One of them's live. Milwaukee up early on the Pacers. 3 more to go. That takes up a lot of the slots in our main event here on this Tuesday. 4 NHL playoff games, all certainly noteworthy. The biggest, though, is late night in Los Angeles. The Kings and the Oilers. Can McDavid and Draisaitl keep the momentum going and take their first lead in this series against the Kings? We will break all of this down, but it is a Tuesday, and I thought, why not? Let's put a couple over the fence. I am all dingered up here on a Tuesday. Yanks Orioles in a couple of minutes. Give me Aaron Judge. Give me Cedric Mullins. Rodon has struggled against lefties this year. Seti Mull is hitting the lefties this season. Plus 650, plus 630, I believe that number checks in at. Kyle Gibson gets the ball first time this season for Baltimore. I like Aaron Judge. I'm sure you all do. That's why we're going to parlay some of these with some futures. Here's the full list. Juan Soto, 4-1. Thank you very much. He's been great. He's been great against lefties this season, looking for his first home run. Satterstomp, going deep against DeGrom. We love to see it. Plus 450. A double up in Coors. That's Ozuna. Austin Riley, absolutely looking to fade. Herman Marquez. And then late night Jorge Polanco, who has been excellent for the Seattle Mariners. 7 guys on the card for me tonight. 7. And one of the reasons is I've opted to take our home run hitters and divvy it up, but all of them have been parlayed individually with the Thunder to win the West, and I should say, the Cavs to win the finals. So that's 14, bets in total. Everybody got a piece. I'm looking to add to 2 NBA futures I feel really good about. The Thunder activated last night with a Dodger walk-off victory in extra innings. The Cavs detonated on the Miami Heat in historic fashion. They go out there and 50-piece Miami. The Heat were the first team in NBA history to lose back-to-back playoff games by 30 or more, and it happened on their home court. A lot of that is about Miami, but the Cavs deserve their credit as well. And the Cavs tonight are watching at home and loving what they are seeing from the Milwaukee Bucks, up 30-13 at the end of the first quarter. Only a 4.5-point favorite, only minus 196 on the money line for the Bucks. I would still bet Milwaukee at those numbers. I'm on them pregame +8. I hope they get the job done. As someone who bet Pacers in 6 pre-series, I feel great about Indiana next game as long as there is a next game. Let's just keep this momentum rolling and tackle half of the main event options tonight and stick in the Eastern Conference. Knicks, Pistons, Celtics, Magic. And we will start with actually Boston, Orlando, because it is very similar for me to Pacers, Bucks. A pre-series chance on Indiana in 6, a pre-series chance on Boston in 6. I did not think the Magic would be swept. They've not been swept. They actually have hung in 3 consecutive games. I think they'll do that once again here tonight. I did bet Orlando catching 11.5. The Celtics, even more than the Pacers, no panic if they lose tonight. There's no, well, if Orlando gets the next one, and then if Boston feels pressure in a Game 7, nope, not going to happen. Not going to happen. The Celtics will be getting through the series, but I think they could be had tonight by the Magic. I think it's very plausible. Boston to win this series in 6 was +680 pre-series. The Orlando number tonight, 5-1 on the money line. Again, I feel very confident that Orlando is not capable of beating the Celtics in consecutive games. So if the Magic can pull off that upset tonight, I think we're going to be in a really good spot. As far as Knicks Pistons go, and of course the winner of these 2 series will move on to face one another. That winner is projected to, of course, be Boston against New York. I am so excited to see, when I think it will be inevitable that we get that matchup, what the pricing looks like. Boston's dominance over the Knicks was well documented throughout the regular season. The Knicks could not beat them, couldn't beat the Cavs, couldn't beat the Thunder, couldn't beat the Lakers, couldn't beat any of the good teams. That was the story when it came to the New York Knicks. I think that the Knicks in the playoffs can be a little bit different. I do. I think that they just need to play some close games and let the clutch player of the year in Jalen Brunson take them home. They need to use Karl-Anthony Towns more, quarters 1 through 3. They've started to do that here in this series against Detroit. I've remained confident in the Knicks in this series, and I've not been shaken as to what they can do next round against Boston. A portion of that is just also the Celtics' lack of health is not something I've felt has been discussed enough throughout this season. Drew Holiday has not played since game number 2. Game number 2, Tatum missed. Jaylen Brown entered the playoffs. No, he didn't. No. Oh! Judgy, why'd you got to do it to him? We're on the board. We're moving on. Check Panther. This guy's got something, and it's an MVP weight, and that's what he's got. Now we're talking. Now we're fired up on a Dinger Tuesday. Oh, under the hat. We bet that straight. You know we did. With a little odds boost Dinger Tuesday style. Bring back the real Dinger Tuesday, even if we're in the mix. Flash him up again. What if Seti Mal goes deep next inning? We'd love to see that. Activation style. There's the 7. There we go. Oh, Ben Rice. Ben Rice, don't you scared to get in the mix. Yanks, 3 batters, 3 home runs. Where's the World Series trophy? Oh, boy. That's not going to happen. Very exciting stuff. Now, where were we? Where were we? Knicks Pistons. That's where we were. Knicks Pistons. I really do think that the Knicks can beat the Boston Celtics in that series. I fully expect the Knicks to win at least a game, right? You're going to see some Celtics sweep bets come across the table. I actually respect those. But tonight is the first time in this series that I feel the Pistons are the side. I still feel as if, though, the Knicks can hit a ceiling offensively that Detroit cannot, and that worries me a bit. I'm going to play the Pistons team total over 104.5 in this game. We have seen this series ebb and flow on the total. Big time overs in games 1 and 3, bang unders in games 2 and 4. I think we see points tonight. Detroit only had 2 players on the roster make a 3-point shot in game 4. As a team, they were 7 of 29. I think that bounces back. I think this young group is still comfortable enough on the road, more than they should be. So let's get on the board with the over team total for the Pistons, and let's keep getting these dingers rolling here on a Tuesday.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think GameTime Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to GameTime Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than GameTime Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into GameTime Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Hey now, how we feeling? I'm excited. I'm very excited. All right. We have, by the way, for you tonight, we're going to have much later in the show, but we will still have you crew best bets. 2-2 yesterday. Looking to get 3-1 today. Would love to see 4-0. We also have crew Dinger Tuesday picks. All right. So we're going to get those on the board next segment. All right. Because nobody is going to have first pitch inside this window. So we got a lot of good stuff tonight. Coach will be here. Consig will be here. Our guy Burke's going to be in the mix. We got a lot of good stuff coming here. But let's just get to Nuggets Clippers, because this is such an important game in this series, and I know that is obvious. I do. But I also feel that this is one where everyone is seeing it the same. Denver, it is very hard to believe Denver loses this game and still wins the series. In fact, it is very hard to believe that Denver wins this game and we do not end up in still a 7th game. It's really, really tough to see that happening. I do feel as if Denver has been dismissed too easily by a lot of people, including the section of people that believe Nikola Jokic is already a top 10 guy in league history. I do not know how you believe that, simultaneously feel that they are absolutely done here against the Clippers. I do not think that a guy who some believe should have won 5 consecutive MVPs in his prime should have no chance to get out of round number 1. I understand that the depth is not there. I do. They still have 4 of the 5 starters that they won an NBA championship with. The Clippers they are up and down as it pertains to to reliability. I mean, James Harden essentially has punted on offense, it feels like now, for 6 quarters after being lights out to open this series. But, again, that's kind of the deal with Harden. But I think Harden is now 18 points, 20 points, 15 points, games 2 through 4, is in line for a really good one. I think the same exact thing is true of Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray, throughout his playoff career, you see the elevation, but you specifically see it at home. And the 13 points on under 30% shooting in game number 4 is not good. The fact that it came in a win is incredible. And they should be ecstatic over. They should be over the moon about that. All right? But I expect Jamal Murray to play much better. So I now think, when I see this game tonight, I think Harden has a high floor, and I think Murray has a high floor, and I think both have a chance to touch 30. I really do like their over 42.5 combined points, that head-to-head player prop market that I've talked about a lot throughout this season on DraftKings. Over 42.5 combined for Murray and Harden is my favorite way to bet this one tonight. I lean Denver at home. I lean Denver. I'm not running to the window on it, though. I understand the one blowout in this series went LA's way, but the Nuggets were up 20-plus heading into that 4th quarter against the Clippers. They let go of it, right? That was obviously a disaster, but they avoided a full-on disaster, and they won that basketball game against the Clippers. I think the Nuggets are a little bit more competitive than a lot of people are treating them. But I'm going to add on to what we discussed yesterday on the show, in that the way this series is going is one of a number of reasons I have already bet, and will continue to look to do so probably, the Oklahoma City Thunder to win the Western Conference. I do not want to hear about rust. I just don't. Kawhi Leonard, who, holding up is something you have to worry about, is averaging 39 minutes a game in this series, and you may have 3 more games where that number will only go up, because the more important the game, the more that number climbs. Nikola Jokic is out there playing the entire second half. He's averaging 42 minutes a game in this series, thanks to playing 46 in overtime game number 1. I don't want to hear about rust. The rest advantage for the deepest team in the West in Oklahoma City is going to be outrageous. But the beauty of it now is they won't have to win on depth, because SGA and J-Dub should play 40 minutes a night, no problem, in round 2 and really round number 3. And that's, again, if this games are super competitive. I'm not even sure they will be. And Oklahoma City, who's now minus 175, minus 180 to win the West, will likely be over minus 300 in any of the series that they play because that's the level that they've been playing at. And you just try and kind of compare it as much as you can to Boston last year. Not perfect examples because the competition that Boston was playing was not viewed as highly as the competition that Oklahoma City is projected to run into the rest of the way. But the reason last night I wanted to get involved with the Thunder and tack them onto a Dodgers money line play is I'd like to get even money, but I trust him. The reason why every single guy that I bet to homer today was let's just tack on OKC to win the West is because I want as much investment as I can get in OKC. Investment that the second their season ended last year, I was like, yep, I like what I see. It was comparable to when Dallas' season ended. They missed the playoffs. I thought that Kyrie and Luka would bounce back, and they made the finals. The big difference was the price. The books saw it coming a mile away, as they should have. I was having conversations with people who know basketball, understand basketball, and we were all like, yeah, it's SGA's MVP. What do you know? SGA's MVP. And eventually it'll be his Western Conference Finals MVP. We'll talk some playoff hockey. We'll talk some Major League Baseball next right here on Game Time Decisions.
Here's a tip. Let's say you bet big on a 4-game moneyline parlay. Your first 3 bets have hit, but you're a little nervous about the last game. Consider placing a separate bet against the team you have winning in your parlay. You're technically a winner either way. Now, go get lucky. See you in Lost Pages. Let's get lucky.
We're going to get a bunch of upsets. We're going to get a lot of craziness. Didn't happen as well. I mean, over the last calendar year, Sam, I don't ever recall 6 or 8 months of time in sports where the books lost, but here we are.
They estimate FanDuel and DraftKings lost $185 million combined for March Madness. So estimating not just that they didn't have a profitable March Madness, but it was a huge loss for them as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
Rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, live to the right here on SportsGrid. Playoff hockey begins in a couple of minutes. We've got Toronto looking to close out Ottawa. I do think they will. I would probably actually lay the puck line if I was going to get involved in that game. The big game to me is Edmonton and LA. It's very interesting. I almost wanted to zag a little bit and play a Draisaitl under the 1.5 points, but it's expensive. It's plus money to the over. It doesn't really, I just wasn't worth it for me. So I left that be. Vegas and Minnesota, really important game. A lot of people like Vegas coming into this postseason. Big time minus 230 favorites at home. They got to get the job done. The game that caught my eye, though, was Carolina and New Jersey, keeping it local. I like over 5.5. Even money here. The Canes are much better than the Devils. All Devil fans know it. And Carolina, to some degree, stopped playing around, it felt like, in game number 4. 2-0 early lead, 3-0 by the time you got into that second period, pretty early on. 5-2 final. I think it's possible Carolina pours it on the Devils. You might say, well, why not play the, team total for the Canes? Again, if you want to zag, I don't mind that. Play one bit. But the Devil season is on the line. And if that team happens to get you 3 goals tonight, I think Carolina matches it. I think we get well over the number. So, and I think the Devil scoring 2 could be enough. I'm very, at even money, give me the 5.5 here in Carolina and New Jersey. All right, let's do dinger picks for the team. You guys already know that we've sent off Judge. We've sent off Cedric Mullins. Those are already out into the stratosphere. If you made me only pick one, factoring in number and whatnot, Soto for me, plus 400 is my favorite. For the fellas, Yarnell goes Rafael Devers tonight. Okay, Boston Red Sox got Crochet on the mound. They're up north playing Toronto, throwing Bowden Francis. In the Mets game, that's our guy Casino Chris. Goes with the Polar Bear, Pete Alonso, plus 370. The weather tonight in the beautiful, lovely, fantastic Queens, New York, is wind aplenty. Little Wrigley Field-esque, we're hearing from those who know what's what. So home run picks in that game make a lot of sense. It's YUC2 there. And then AJ's going to send Ozzy Albies to the dish, which makes plenty of sense. Marquez has been atrocious this season. He's always kind of struggled while being in Colorado. And you now have an Atlanta lineup that is just desperate to break through, right? This is a team that's trying to fight back, get up to 500, and they're 2 games away from doing that. He's trusting Albies. I'm on the righties in Austin Riley and Marcelo Zuna. There's going to be home runs tonight from that Braves lineup. There will be. So that's why I've got 2 guys from there, Soderstrom and Polanco, the other 2 that I've not mentioned from that home run card. The only other thing that I was considering on the baseball card tonight, I did not play because I wasn't sure what the correct combination was, but there were 3 moneyline favorites who stood out to me. And that, the Philadelphia Phillies, and I know that game's underway, that's why I didn't play it yet, but they're already up 2-0. The Phillies with Zach Wheeler on the mound at home. They lost Zach's last start at home. The Phils kind of hit a little bit of a slide, only now 15-13. I thought they were in a good spot. I thought the Rays at home were in a good spot. Taj Bradley, bit of a bounce back. Lorenzen, a little bit of a sell high for Kansas City. The Rays are playing good ball right now. And then lastly, Bryce Miller and the Mariners at home against the Angels. I thought there was a pretty big pitching mismatch there. None of those money lines I wanted to play straight. I thought they made decent parlay pieces. Again, I didn't get there. But I just, if that helps you at all tonight. The only other item would be Garrett Crochet, maybe over the 17.5 outs. Maybe you take the strikeouts down, under the earned runs allowed. But Crochet should be very good tonight for Boston. I know that's obvious, but giving up 4 earned in his last go against Seattle, you guys understand that's clear, obvious bounce-back style there on Garrett Crochet. So we'll see what the Red Sox can bring to the table. Pacers have made a run at it, by the way, for those who don't have eyes on this one. They've cut it down to 7 with a little bit more than 2 minutes to go in the first half. We'll keep talking hoops. We are going to get our guy Danny Burke in the mix here. Next, it's Game Time Decisions on.
Here's a tip. Let's say you bet big on a 4-game moneyline parlay. Your first 3 bets have hit, but you're a little nervous about the last game. Consider placing a separate bet against the team you have winning in your parlay. You're technically a winner either way. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
We're going to get a bunch of upsets. We're going to get a lot of craziness. Didn't happen as well. I mean, over the last calendar year, Sam, I don't ever recall 6 or 8 months of time in sports where the books lost, but here we are.
They estimate FanDuel and DraftKings lost $185 million combined for March Madness. So estimating not just that they didn't have a profitable March Madness, but it was a huge loss for them as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of
18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Live right here, it is Game Time Decisions. Kevin Walsh with you on a Tuesday night. We're now going to be joined by Danny Burke. Find him on Twitter, at DannyBurke5. Does work over at OddsShopper, covers the betting markets, and we're going to talk some basketball here tonight on a very busy Tuesday, Danny. Appreciate you making some time. I want to jump right into it here. Knicks Pistons, a fascinating series where it's been really close, but the Knicks have been able to find edges and could end this one at home tonight. What are you expecting? What are you liking here in game number 5 at the Garden?
Man, I'm still sulking from game 4 because the bet that I had pre-flop heading into this series was the total games played over 5.5. So obviously Detroit getting that first win, you felt great. That's what you wanted. And then they had it right there in their fingertips in that last game, just to let it slip out of their grasp. I mean, again, you look at this team and what they've been able to accomplish is remarkable in their own sense, from the organization that they were last year and even years prior to then just doing a complete 180. And they're going to be a fun team for years to come. And a lot of these younger, inexperienced squads need to get beat up and deal with adversity in the postseason to really find their true form and then get on the path to the championship. Not that Detroit had any realistic expectations of that this year, but again, this is kind of the stepping stone in that right direction. Still, you can't blow that game. And I feel like we see time and time again, Kevin, where you get a team in a similar situation as Detroit. You're at home and you are this younger group and you really just, shoot yourselves in the foot or just lose in an absolutely demoralizing way. Now to go back in that next spot on the road in a tougher environment in Madison Square Garden, facing elimination and following again, like the way you lost that last game, it's tough to get behind Detroit despite what we've seen from them this season and in this postseason with how they've kept things competitive and close. So I would lean toward the side in New York here if you could get that 5. I know there's a lot of 5.5s out there. I may wait for an in-game spot, but I do have a strong lean toward the Knicks. It's not my favorite play. That's why I haven't done it officially. But I do think the Knicks get the job done. Obviously, the question here is, are they going to cover or not? And I err toward the side that they will because, again, I just think all the momentum has swung toward the Knicks, who have been battle-tested, have the better players, and the better coach in this familiar situation in Tom Thibodeau. So I would lean toward New York. A prop that I also did play really quick, Cade Cunningham, under 44.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I know it's moved to 43.5 in a lot of spots. I still like it, but I don't love it. So I'm not necessarily going to go full out and recommend you to get a little bit worse number there. But again, it kind of correlates with just how I think the Pistons are going to play, and I think Cade's going to be shut down a little bit. So like the Knicks and like Cade to have a more lower tier type of game tonight.
Dan, I want to ask you something. You mentioned jumping in on the Knicks live. I am curious if you're a live bettor, I'm sure you've been tracking it. Have you been betting Brunson points props heading into the fourth quarter? I don't really know what I'm doing because I look at it every single game right before the fourth. I go, he probably gets there. And then I just don't do it. And I'm like, oh, look at all that money that just walked right by me. Everything. Have you been looking at that throughout this series?
I haven't, but in the past, I certainly have. And we not only see that with a guy like Brunson, but a lot of other players. And not this past game per se with Steph Curry, but I think it was the game before he got off to a really slow start. And then he ended up dropping like 30, 31 or something like that. But this is the time for those top tier players to shine. And if they have that struggling first half, especially if you have the home crowd behind you, that's when they come alive. And it's not only because they kind of step it up a notch, but they do such a great job, Brunson, for example, in particular, at creating contact and drawing those fouls. So that's how a lot of his production comes about. And you're going to get a little bit more favorable whistle in this environment. So it's definitely a good throw out there by you, something that I'll have to monitor. I've been looking a little bit more so at these team totals in terms of live betting and been doing fairly okay with it. But yeah, I like where your head's at in terms of Brunson. If he gets off to that slow start, he's the main guy, right? So he's probably going to end up closing it out just like the Knicks will in this game.
Yeah, the last game specifically was crazy because I kept it up the entire game. And I'm like, he'll get there if he's healthy. But I'm pretty sure any moment now he's going to go back to the locker room. He never did. He kept it going. We'll keep it in the Eastern Conference. Boston, a big-time favorite tonight against the Orlando Magic, sitting at 11.5. Boston, though, will not be full gas. Still no Drew Holiday. Jaylen Brown is a game-time decision, but you'd expect him to play. He's been playing throughout this series. Any strong lean or angle here in Boston-Orlando?
Yeah, I certainly like Boston, and obviously I'm not going out on a limb by saying that, and I wish I had a little bit more in depth in terms of a side because I don't like laying high spreads, especially when it comes to the postseason. But in a similar sense with Orlando, you give everything you have at those two home games. You're a massive underdog, and realistically, you don't have a shot at winning this series. So again, now that the momentum is clearly and obviously in the hands of Boston, not that it ever really wasn't, it's hard to get up again now in an away crowd and expect them to keep this one close. I mean, their defense is what they really pride themselves on. I just don't know if they're going to have enough offense to keep close with Boston. Despite them being a little banged up, they find a way. I mean, they have so much depth and they have so many good role players who can step up like a Peyton Pritchard. And if Derek White can get hot from three, I mean, there's really nothing you can do to limit them. So again, it is a lean toward Boston. Maybe have a bit more conviction in this total or a team total specifically with Boston if you don't trust Orlando to score. 198.5 seems a little bit too low because I wouldn't be completely shocked. I mean, obviously, if you're leaning toward the side of Boston laying 11 and a hook, they're going to control this game. They're going to score a ton of points. So they may be able to do enough on their own to get this total and contribute heavily to it over that lower mark of 198.5. And then by the end of the game, they're taking out some of their starters. Defense gets a little sloppy. So lean toward the over and then lean toward Boston. But earlier today, took Wendell Carter Jr. over 9.5 rebounds. Again, unfortunately, a prop that I saw move at several outlets to about 8 in the hook. If you still get 9 in the hook, I think that's a go on Wendell Carter under his boards.
What got you to the Wendell play? I'm just curious, kind of, even if people maybe are a little bit late, but just kind of the process there of Carter's rebounds heading into Game 5.
Yeah, well, a lot of what we do at Odd Shopper specifically is our plus EV betting, and our tools did signal this one out having a strong edge earlier in the day. So that's the first thing that kind of got me on it. And just understanding what kind of symmetry and flow I think is going to be apparent in this game with, if Boston's really going to be in control, they're going to be making more shots and missing them. And obviously getting offensive boards is harder than defensive. So if Boston's making a lot more, limited opportunities there for missed shots and on the side of Wendell Carter Jr. And I think, again, this could be that type of blowout game to where the competitive spirits, regardless of which side, but specifically Orlando, by the time you get to the later stages, may not be there as much. So that extra effort and energy and opportunity aren't going to be there for Wendell. And then obviously just trying to beat the market earlier in the day.
Which is always a key when you're betting, certainly into the postseason. We're with Danny Burke. Danny, before we let you get out of here, Nuggets, Clippers, late night here. Probably we're expected to be the best of these 4 games. What are you looking for in that one?
Yeah, so the bet that I took in this game, kind of another heartbreaker in a sense, but we'll see. So I had the Clippers on the series spread, so -1.5 games, and the last game was just torture to watch the end of it. But they battled back. They shouldn't have been that deep in a hole, regardless. But it is what it is. I still like the Clippers in this series a lot. You could argue certainly that the momentum has swung toward Denver, but man, you look on paper, this Denver defense all year has been very, very average, and then in the postseason they've really slipped. In Los Angeles, that is where their identity resides, is their defensive prowess. So what adjustments they can make. And you can't really limit Jokic. We all know this, but if you can limit some of their three-point shooting from like a Murray or a Michael Porter Jr. and one of those guys don't get hot, then they really have no other solutions, to where the Clippers have all of these other role players who could step up, been underrated for a majority of the year. Market's slightly moving toward the Clippers, and I agree. I do think Los Angeles wins, and obviously I hope they win because of my pre-series bet.
All right, fantastic. Again, find him on Twitter at DannyBurke5. Danny, appreciate it. We'll be right back here on SportsGrid.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think GameTime Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to GameTime Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start, so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than GameTime Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into GameTime Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Game Time Decisions. Kevin Walsh, Coach James Young in the mix. JY, always good to have you here on Game Time Decisions. I actually want to start live, JY. Bucks Pacers. Are you surprised to see the level of fight that Milwaukee has brought into this game, up 6 at the break?
Yeah, but I'm also not as shocked that they're probably gonna blow this game. I mean, Doc Rivers finally makes some kind of adjustments, putting Kevin Porter Jr. in the starting lineup, putting Green in the starting lineup. Obviously taking out, putting Bobby Portis in the starting lineup, really just switching things up and playing guys like Brook Lopez 6 minutes, and Kyle Kuzma 6 minutes, Torian Prince 4 minutes. I mean, goddamn, what took him so long? I mean, backs against the wall. Maybe this is the reverse, Doc. Maybe this is 3-1 down. He comes back and wins the series. Not really. They probably still lose the game tonight.
I think Milwaukee will hold on. I am invested in them doing as much. I definitely think for them it is probably a bit disheartening that the lead is not even double digits anymore. But you're up. And it's been a tough series for them, so I think they'll take it. It's been a tough series for Detroit because there's probably a part of them that thinks we should have swept this team in the New York Knicks. I think that's a little far. I totally think it's understandable if Detroit fans think that they should be up in this series. Many people believe they should be evened at 2 apiece. What do you believe happens tonight, though, Coach, is most important? Game 5, Knicks-Pistons.
The referees are going to have to get this game under control really fast. So to me, one of the things I love is I love the game to go over. If you think about the complaints, particularly that the Knicks had after game 2, I think it was like 118, 114 with 232. I think the referees will call some fouls early. If you look at the 3 referees, they're guys that give a lot of techs, so that could be something as well. The story has become more about the officiating than anything. And while we're at that really quick, folks, because I haven't talked to Kevin about this on air, I have a major problem. I don't have a problem. Well, I should say this. The foul was a foul at the end of the game. But you can't bitch and moan about the foul at the end of the game where you're playing, offensive linemen blocking people and when you're setting a screen and you're mugging Brunson up the floor and you're clutching Cat for every rebound. It's almost like they went home and they thought they were the bad boys. They saw Jalen Rose in the crowd. They saw Isaiah Thomas in the crowd and all these guys, and they started feeling roads. They just needed to play basketball. The only one I think that honestly is playing basketball, honestly, is Cade. Everyone else is doing all the extra stuff, and if they would focus on playing basketball and closing games the right way, people would say, oh, well, there should be a 3-1. Yeah, they also blew 2 leads in the fourth quarter, and they almost blew game 2 as well. So to me, they got to close out games before they want to start complaining about the officials.
I think that's fair. I also think my bigger takeaway, I don't know if I've done this on air. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. The review process is a total disaster. The Knicks-Pistons game ends like that. Meanwhile, they pulled out a drone shot to get a different view after 5 minutes of waiting on LeBron apparently fouling Anthony Edwards and Luka getting tripped by Jaden McDaniels. Just the whole review process right now is bad. And it leads to a lot more issues, I think, at this point than it really solves. So JY, again, what is the action for you tonight in Knicks Pistons? I'm on Detroit's team total over 104.5. So I think we're seeing it a little bit similarly. I know you like the over. Anything else in this one?
Yeah, I'm going Big Bodega over 10.5 rebounds because I think if the referees try to clean this game up, that means he should be able to attack the offensive boards. Stewart is out again. I'm concerned that maybe in a spot Jalen Duren gets into foul trouble and Big Ball Paul won't be able to contain him enough. Let's go Cat over 10.5 rebounds tonight.
I actually heavily consider that same exact bet. I'm glad you're on it because now I can fully root it in. Cat has not had 3 straight games without a double-double all year.
All year, yep.
So to have a 4th, now if he lands 10, he lands 10, but still, the reason I didn't bet it is sometimes things change in the playoffs, and one person that's true of is Josh Hart. So Hart is just overly chasing every rebound. So this could kind of be how it plays out. But I really, really like the look, JY. I'll certainly be rooting that in. Celts Magic, big double-digit number. Boston tonight, what are you thinking?
I'm going with Boston in the first quarter minus 4.5 points. To me, here's the thing. Orlando and Boston's only been up by 5+ points on 1 game out of the series. If I am Boston, I don't play around with this, folks. Orlando's been scrappy. I try to throw the knockout punch early. Maybe I go through Porzingis a little bit, kind of spread the wealth. I like them to go to win the first quarter by at least 5 or more points. And then if I think we could get a blowout here, which I think there could be a possibility, then I'm going to go Pritch better have my money. Peyton Pritchard over 8.5 points. I think there's someone that is going to be able to get going. I can see him in that 12, 13 point range. He's gone under the last couple of games. But if I think this could be a blowout, heavy minutes for some of these bench guys, give me Pritch better have my money over 8.5 points.
All right, little love there for Peyton Pritchard. I am on Orlando in this game. I actually think it could stun the Celtics here. Ice Trae Young did it in Boston. Also, apparently, everything Trae Young's ever accomplished doesn't count, isn't real, and he gets no credit for. And I don't know why that is. I'm not happy that that's the case. JY, quickly, let's do a little blitz here. Nuggets, Clippers, where are you at?
I like the Nuggets on the money line. I know your last guest, Danny, was going the other way. I think the Nuggets are going to find a way to get it done. I don't think offensively they've been particularly good, but I think they find a way. And then I'm going to go storming Norman Powell over his points prop tonight. Over the last two games, I actually think there's a low total. I actually think there's going to be points in this game for some crazy reason. Norman Powell over, I think, 16.5, 17.5. Make sure you shop around.
We're going to keep Coach here because I want to ask him about some Lakers T-Wolf stuff. But JY, I'm glad you mentioned the total. Me not being on this over is a coward's move. But I am horrified that these teams are acting like it's been Game 7 all series. I don't know why. All right, we're back with it right here after a quick break.
Here's a tip. Let's say you bet big on a 4-game moneyline parlay. Your first 3 bets have hit, but you're a little nervous about the last game. Consider placing a separate bet against the team you have winning in your parlay. You're technically a winner either way. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
We're going to get a bunch of upsets. We're going to get a lot of craziness. Didn't happen as well. I mean, over the last calendar year, Sam, I don't ever recall 6 or 8 months of time in sports where the books lost, but here we are.
They estimate FanDuel and DraftKings lost $185 million combined for March Madness. So estimating not just that they didn't have a profitable March Madness, but it was a huge loss for them as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
Rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of
15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, back right here, Game Time Decisions. In replacement of what could just be a whole segment going at Doc for the Bucks potentially losing this game, we're going to zag a little. I mentioned I wanted to ask JY about the Lakers series. I'll do that in a second. Coach, you had a take today, though, around Miami's sweep, or on the wrong side of the sweep from the Cavs. Tell the people how you felt after Cleveland dusted off Miami last night.
I thought it was an absolutely embarrassing performance by the Miami Heat. A Miami Heat, they made a run in the fourth quarter of game number 2, and then I'm like, I bought into this Heat culture, that they were going to give me something, right? Something to say, okay, we're going to compete. We're going to make a charge of this. I'm not saying win the series. I'm saying get a game. I'm saying give me some kind of competitiveness. So what do? They go and they lose by 30 in game 3. I said, no, not Pat Riley. Not Pat Riley. Oh, no. We're going to be better than that. So what do? 43-17 in the first quarter. 29-16 after 2. You are down by 40. And for a crowd in Miami that arrives late, maybe they didn't arrive at all. But I'll tell you this much. I've been talking Miami Heat culture. Heat culture is dead. You know what the Heat culture was? LeBron James. You know what the Heat culture was? Chris Bosh. You know what the Heat culture was? Dwayne Wade. You know what the Heat culture was? Jimmy Butler. And guess what? None of them 4 play there anymore. The Heat culture is dead, finished, gone, kaput. Pat Riley, see you later. I think he steps down.
So, there's a lot there. I will push back that Heat culture was not real. They got more out of Jimmy than anyone else. LeBron is LeBron. But obviously, I think the landing spot helped. I do think that Pat Riley's approach is probably outdated, and it wouldn't be bad if they went and got themselves maybe, they try to switch things up a little bit. But the guy who I think has kind of escaped a lot of eyes this season is Spoelstra. And I don't think that's right. I don't want to hear about the roster or the Jimmy situation. We don't view Bam Adebayo as one of the 10 best players in the NBA. We don't view Tyler Hero as one of the 20 best players in the NBA. That's not what right? The selling point on Miami is Eric Spoelstra. He's supposed to be one of the very best coaches in the league. They, I think, led the NBA in blown double-digit leads this season. They were the first team in NBA history to lose consecutive playoff games by 30 or more. And it happened on their home floor. And the second one was worse than the first. I think that is so indefensible from somebody of Spoelstra's caliber that he really himself needs to take a look in the mirror. But it sounds like you think the whole organization does, and I think that's totally fair. My question to you, because we only have so much time, Coach, and I appreciate you making some time for us on this Tuesday. Do you think there is any chance the Lakers can actually come back and win this series against Minnesota?
No, but I think they're going to win. I think they're going to blow out and win in game number 5. Okay. The Lakers need a lot of help. They have 2 superstars, and Austin Reeves at times, Rui Hachimura at times. They just don't have the depth, and they don't have the perimeter shooting that I think needs for them to equate to help them. But I think honestly, Kevin, not me, but a lot of people undersold Minnesota. Remember, in betting about the Rim before the playoffs started, I said that they were going to the Western Conference Finals. They are that good. And I think what's happened is slowly, after a slow start, particularly the first 2 games, Ant has turned it on. And at times, Ant's been the best player in the series, what I thought could happen, but he really showed it in game 4. But the Lakers get game 5. I think it goes back to Minnesota.
Yeah, I think the Lakers will win game 5. I think they could. Here's why I think the Lakers can come back in this series. There's one reason. LeBron is not the best player in the world. Nobody thinks he is. But if he's playing in a game 7 100% of the time, I am going to pick him to win that game, whichever team he's on. He's the greatest game 7 player in the history of the league. Even if you're a Jordan guy, you're banana land if you try and make that argument. Just be like, Jordan didn't play game 7s, and that's cool. Like, LeBron is the greatest game 7 player that's ever existed. That's why I ultimately landed on the Lakers beating the Thunder in the conference finals, because I was like, it's going to go 7. So, but can the Lakers even force a game 7 is as good of a question. Coach, amazing as always. We'll be right back. The Pacers are leading by.
Here's a tip. Let's say you bet big on a 4-game moneyline parlay. Your first 3 bets have hit, but you're a little nervous about the last game. Consider placing a separate bet against the team you have winning in your parlay. You're technically a winner either way. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
We're going to get a bunch of upsets. We're going to get a lot of craziness. Didn't happen as well. I mean, over the last calendar year, Sam, I don't ever recall 6 or 8 months of time in sports where the books lost, but here we are.
They estimate FanDuel and DraftKings lost $185 million combined for March Madness. So estimating not just that they didn't have a profitable March Madness, but it was a huge loss for them as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The 2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, let's reset the deck here with you on Game Time Decisions. Coming up is the game between the Knicks and the Pistons. I'm on the Detroit team, total over 104.5. Pacers did take the lead, by the way, against Milwaukee. Bucks did just grab it right back, though, so this is going to ping-pong, but the Pacers are now back up into favorites. I am surprised at how quickly they've done this. Milwaukee is obviously up against it now. Hopefully Giannis can seal the deal, though, on that triple-double. Had 8, 6, and 7 at the break. He's at 10, 7, and 7 right now. There's not been a lot of scoring for the Bucks really since that first quarter ended. Celtics Magic tonight. I am going to be on Orlando plus 11.5. I really do think they could win this game, stunner style, against Boston. We will see if it plays out this way. Late night Nuggets Clippers. Give me Jamal Murray and James Harden combined over 42.5 points. Playoff hockey's also started. It's going to be Toronto and Ottawa live right now. It's going to be Carolina and New Jersey up next. And I've got the over 5.5 at even money on my card. I think Carolina is not going to play any games. I think this team could score 5 on their own tonight, quite honestly. I don't play the team total, though, because Devils season on the line. Why not play like it? Maybe they stun Carolina, put 2 quick ones in, and that'd be great for me. I would really like my positioning. Major League Baseball, Yanks are up 6-0. Phils are up 3-0. Same for Boston on Toronto. So a nice lead now building for Garrett Crochet. Dinger Tuesday style here to show you where I am at right now. We've got a couple of guys live. Aaron Judge is already has already homered. Cedric Mullins is going to be leading off at the bottom of the 4th inning. They don't have a hit yet, actually. Do they have a base runner yet? I don't think they have a base runner yet. Shout out Carlos Rodon, the Baltimore Orioles. Soto is live, and then everything else is upcoming. Soderstrom, Ozuna, Riley, Polanco. Let's put the Cruz home runs up there as well. Chris, AJ, Sam, Devers is in action. Pete Alonso in action. Ozzy Albies still to come. Plus 520 shot there out in Coors Field. Fading Herman Marquez. I like it. I'm doing the same with a couple of guys. And as I mentioned at the top, the way I played it tonight was kind of divvying it up. Took my 7 guys. Each guy was a part of two different parlays, one with the Cavs to win the title and one with Oklahoma City to win the West. I am able to get out of the Laker futures. If you do not have any futures, I would look to get involved with Oklahoma City. I, though, am not beholden to, I said it was going to be the Lakers, so I now have to lie and tell everyone I think it's going to be the Lakers still to win the West. I didn't pick the Lakers to win the title. I picked the Cavs to win the title. I feel great about that. Their net rating is plus 33. Just think about that. Let's try and put this into perspective quickly on Cleveland. So everyone rightfully acknowledges the dominant performance that we saw from OKC. Oklahoma City's net rating is plus 19.3 at the end of that series. Cleveland's is plus 33.2. That is outrageous. That is incredible to see what this team has done here and just how awesome they have been it's a monster gap. The offensive rating is a 137.4. It's remarkable. We were talking with the guys in here at the end of the first quarter. We had Rohit on yesterday. He gave out Cavs team total, and everyone was kind of like, man, why was it 110.5? It's like sometimes you kind of get boxed in with a team total because you don't want to make Miami's really high, but you also don't want to make Cleveland a 15-point favorite. Turns out Cleveland could have been a 50-point favorite. That's a cover. Cavs are rocking and rolling right now. We like what we're seeing. We like what we're seeing here through the camera. Let's let the people get in on this. Dave Sharapan, the consig on a Tuesday night. Vegas.
Yeah.
Pretty good. The gold. Can we get a full shot? Can we flex the logo? Not bad.
Not bad.
Is that a gift?
Not bad. Yeah, actually, just picked this one up. This was, they're getting for the playoff merch, so they put all this stuff on the rack and said we need to move this right now. So I never had a gold jersey until last week.
All right.
So brand new debut right now on Game Time Decisions with you. The new and abbreviated version, 90 minutes, power packed. Figured I would dress up. I don't have it.
Where are you at? Where are you at on the ice tonight? Goal?
Uh-oh. I thought I heard something. No? Oh.
No.
All right. No goal. Toronto and under early.
Okay.
I think Toronto ends the series.
Right.
And we have a monster type just war. This is getting down to the end. But betting unders is treacherous right now in hockey. I mean, it's what are they, 12-3 to the overs? Terrible. Carolina ends it tonight. That one's done. Gigantic price, but
I'm on the over there. 5.5, even money.
That's what you should be on. I like that. That game will have juice as far as the total. And then the late night stuff, I mean, it's home team.
Okay.
I think the Knights find a way to get by the Wild, although the Wild are very live. Like, I don't feel confident at all. I think the Wild have been really good in the series. And then, the show of the night is the late night.
Yeah.
Edmonton and the Kings. It's been great. I don't know. The games look like they should have been unders, and they weren't. The games look like the Oilers should have been done, and they're not. And it's 2-2, and Kings win it tonight, though. I do like the Kings tonight, short price.
Yeah, I couldn't get a great handle on the games, truly. Like, I have some leans for you, but also, like, that's, we're kind of, it's swoop-in style a little bit. I like the Carolina over. I'll say yesterday, man, I actually did catch the games, portions of them. If you, I had my let's take the whole slate under. No goals in the first period. It's like,
oh, baby.
And then Florida was like, what if we scored 3 in 2 minutes? And I was like, well, that wasn't fun. And then 9 seconds into Dallas, Colorado, they scored, and I went, "Thank you, I'm out of here. I gotta go."
Night.
All right,
Yep.
we're gonna watch like a YouTube video because I'm certainly not turning on the pregame.
No.
You know what I mean, for the NBA. But we had to get out of town. We had to get out of Dodge, quite frankly, when we saw that when we saw that play out. Hey, Consig, let's ask you this before we hit this quick commercial break.
Yes, sir.
Yanks and over? Was that on the card tonight? Was that on the card?
Mean, Digger Tuesday. You just put them all in the lineup. Just all the guys for the Yankees, right? Just lead off back to back to back. Take a break, another homer. I mean, Bellinger even got involved in this. Yeah, good day for the Yankees so far. There's some good baseball. Okay, Dub, we'll get to that after the break. I mean, I got some notes here. Do you know? I'll ask you this before the break.
All right.
Who has the most difficult schedule in Major League Baseball up to this point in 2025?
Oh. Let's think on it. I want to give it a shot. We'll think on it. We'll think on it.
Yeah.
And then we'll come back. We'll also update you on Pacers Bucks, which is just a great game right now. They're hitting threes. Just need Giannis to dime a couple. Come on now. Come on now. Triple double's not going to get there itself. We'll be right back on Sports Grid. No hockey. Stop.
Here's a tip. Let's say you bet big on a 4-game moneyline parlay. Your first 3 bets have hit, but you're a little nervous about the last game. Consider placing a separate bet against the team you have winning in your parlay. You're technically a winner either way. Now, go get lucky. See you in Lost Pages. Let's get lucky.
We're going to get a bunch of upsets. We're going to get a lot of craziness. Didn't happen as well. I mean, over the last calendar year, Sam, I don't ever recall 6 or 8 months of time in sports where the books lost, but here we are.
They estimate FanDuel and DraftKings lost $185 million combined for March Madness. So estimating not just that they didn't have a profitable March Madness, but it was a huge loss for them as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, live with you right here. Game Time Decisions. Little trivia. Great trivia. Not even, is it trivia? Kind of. Consig asks the people. Hardest schedule in baseball up until this point. And then he says, let's do an NL submission and an AL submission. Everyone agrees NL team is the Cubs. I assume their thought process is the same as mine. They've played 40 games against the Dodgers, but the reason I wouldn't guess the Dodgers is they played the Rockies, so that just is going to eliminate them.
Good
ball. They're guessing Boston in the American League. I'm guessing the Astros because I know they played the Mets, and the Mets are 20-9. Talk to me, Dave.
Wow. Excellent work there. Way to kind of get to the bottom of this. The Cubs are the answer. Okay, they have the hardest schedule in baseball. Their opponent winning percentage is 576. Okay, they haven't played a division game yet. Today's their first division game against the NL Central.
That's
So,
wild.
Game against the Buccos. Although Haney's live today, he's got the longest scoreless streak in baseball as far as starters go. But the Rangers are the second choice in the most difficult schedule in Major League Baseball so far. Opponents winning percentage 556. Right behind them, Kevin, the Seattle Mariners and the Houston Astros, both at 536. Their opponent's winning percentage. So you were close. Now the boys, Casino Chris, Slinging Sammy, whatever whatever the nicknames the boys got. The easiest schedule in Major League Baseball so far in 2025, the Boston Red Sox.
Wow,
Their
that's a bad
opponent's winning
guess.
percentage
That's a bad guess, fellas.
is only 431. They've played the White Sox 6 times. I mean,
no, come on now. Who put that forward?
Everybody's got to be accountable.
I'm going to cover for them. They must have been guessing easiest schedule. That's the only. Come on.
Oh, they got crossed up. That stream.
Something got crossed up there. Some wires got
fine.
crossed. I'm not. They did get it correct in terms of the Cubs. So we'll leave it at that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, Dave. So let's wind something back. All right, we got a lot going on tonight with the NBA. A lot going on tonight, NHL. Huge Major League Baseball board. I'm just curious, a night like this, does it bring out an more than usual amount of moneyline parlays that can kind of put the books in like it'd be great if Vegas doesn't get it done tonight, or, man, if Boston slips up, it would be more than usual. This would be wonderful for us.
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, the NBA tonight with the home teams. I mean, Indiana somehow loses. The Knicks lose. The Celtics lose. There's 3 moneyline favorites in the basketball that, the books are all rooting against them. Clippers in Denver is a game of the night. I mean, I don't know if you're going to key anything to that. But, then the moneyline parlays to the hockey, you put with the Knights. I don't know if as much at Toronto because it was an early start, at least out west. You don't have nearly as much sweat in that. But the last leg of the parlays is the Knights on a lot of tickets. And, I mean, dare I say it's probably Carolina too, back east, like fading the Devils. So, it would be all right. This would be one of those nights
don't
where you're
look
like,
now.
can a dog win, please?
Don't look now. Don't look now. They're telling me it's 2-0. Oh, look now. This total might be 20.5. I don't know. What do we think? We might set a record.
What game?
I like 7.5. This is going to be a painful. This will be painful when Carolina wins 3-2. That'll be tough.
No, come on, we're good. You got the Devils 2 goals in the first 5 minutes. This is ideal.
They've done this already. The Devils. They scored like 4 seconds in, and then they didn't score again. It was like, ooh, fellas, you're making me look not great. Yeah, they did it. They did it in game 2.
Oh, they did. That's right, game 2. Yeah, you're right.
3 minutes in, 1-0.
Oh boy.
Oh, boys in the back. Party time. Hoffy Devers goes board. Wow, we like that. Let's pop up the board. Let's show everybody the home run picks again. It's a good night here. It's a good night here. Yarnell on the board. Mr. Mikko Rantanen comes back with Devers. This kid's red hot. Call the fire department. We like that. Pete Alonso, don't be scared to get involved. Juan Soto, don't be scared. Follow the leader. Francisco Lindor went deep in that game. A lot of love for Coors tonight, Consig. A lot of love for Coors. Albies, Ozuna, Riley. I got a 7-pack of dingers tonight. I feel like Mike Carver.
You really do. I mean, that's a lot of dingers. But listen, wow, look at these things. Okay. Wow, you got one in Oakland. You got a couple in Atlanta and there. This is a lot. Okay. Well, I mean, listen, Judge already has one, so you're good there. You got Soto tonight at home against the D-backs. This looks like this could happen. I feel like we should be getting a little bit more though than 4-1 for Soto right now, where he's at with all this.
Yeah.
Did you know that the Mets, by the way, rotation is not allowed a home run in 13 games in Citi Field in 2025?
I don't know.
So
Did you know?
don't pick any Diamondbacks. Don't
Did
pick any
you
Diamondbacks
know
this series.
that the Mets were my favorite to not get shut out bet? They have a 12-1 home record, and they were shut out at home. Did you know that?
Wow.
Little fun Met fact that I can't wrap my head around.
How did you get that one? Wow.
That's mind blowing. Last update, I was told it was between Boston and Milwaukee. Oh, Wilyer Abreu say it ain't so. 3-run home run. Boston is all over Toronto 7-0. Garrett Crochet to get the win wagers looking incredible. That was a plus price. Not saying I was looking, but I'm not saying I wasn't. Not saying I was looking, not saying I wasn't. Wow. I like this. We're a little in-game here, Consig. I don't mind this.
In-game's fun. You should join us once in a while. Stay in the studio. We'll have you in.
Ooh.
And join us a little bit.
Shitting colors tonight. It's shitting colors tonight. Can't be late.
Oh, yeah? All right.
Can't be late. Well, they found out we sometimes eat late in the Walsh residence. He found that out last night.
You live it on West Coast time.
We'll be right back with you here on Sports Grid. We'll get a question on the way out.
Here's a tip. Let's say you bet big on a 4-game moneyline parlay. Your first 3 bets have hit, but you're a little nervous about the last game. Consider placing a separate bet against the team you have winning in your parlay. You're technically a winner either way. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Pages. Let's get lucky.
We're going to get a bunch of upsets. We're going to get a lot of craziness. Didn't happen as well. I mean, over the last calendar year, Sam, I don't ever recall 6 or 8 months of time in sports where the books lost, but here we are.
They estimate FanDuel and DraftKings lost $185 million combined for March Madness. So estimating not just that they didn't have a profitable March Madness, but it was a huge loss for them as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, game time decisions. We're going to get best bets for you on the board here, but usually we let Consig. We either give one to him or he throws one our way. Dealer's choice tonight, Dave. You got something or you want something? I like that phrase.
I'll do it quick, and if it's quick enough, you can throw one back at me.
All right.
I got one for you. The total in the game in the Padres and Giants is 7.
Ooh.
Pavetta at home, his season ERA is 1.20. Logan Webb, 1.98. Screams under, K-Dub. Screams
down to 6.5.
under. And these two teams feature the two best bullpens in Major League Baseball. Padres lead with a 1.63 ERA, and the Giants are second with a 2.30 ERA. You love games with juice. Does this game have juice, yes or no?
All right, so I'm going to – my brother occasionally will send me a market, and he'll be like, hey, sorry, but – because he knows he knows that I'm going to have to get in the mix. Like, I see a market, and I'm like, he knows what's up my alley. You can't convince me that you didn't throw me a late night 6.5 as well, now I got K-Dub on the board. What, Nick Pavetta's going to win Cy Young out of San Diego? Are you kidding me? This game's got 100 runs in it. I like what I'm seeing here. I'm gonna have to over 5.5 Thunder to win the West. Don't be scared to get it on the card. Don't be scared to get it on the card. We're gonna have to wait a minute. Padres home dog. Oh, this game's speaking to me like few. This one snuck by me. This one snuck by me. All right, I'll throw this to you quickly. The Lakers being underneath 4-1 to complete a 3-1 comeback. That is not. We are not getting a fair price if you wanted to still back the Lakers.
No.
True or not?
Absolutely true.
No Unbelievable.
Way.
Criminal.
They got 2 of the games at home, right? But come on.
Yeah, come on. No, it's not right.
4-1.
It's not right what they're doing. It's not right what they're doing.
We see you coming.
Oh, the Devils are up 3-0 consig.
There we
go. They hit this on their own.
Give me the goal horn, Sammy. Give me the goal horn.
Change my best bet. Retroactively get in there. All right, better verified on GTD. We can edit the tweet, edit the best bet graphic. Whoa, K-Dub said it. Why not? Consig, always good to talk to you. In-game live is coming up next. Best bets, stuff for you to track, stuff for you to get in the mix with. Yesterday, 2-2. Today, 4-0. It'd be nice. It'd be nice. Here are your best bets. Myself included. Magic, plus 11.5. I really do like Orlando tonight. I think they can win this game. I felt they could be competitive. Yarnell back to the goal scorer, plus 160. Connor McDavid, not bad. A lot of plus money here. Can't get mad at it. Casino Chris, minus 130. Jorge Polanco, 1.5 hit run RBI. Like it a lot. Like it a lot. Astros, people forget, most unbiased man history of sports media. My pick to win the American League. Money line coming from AJ, minus 118. Reese Olson. We were talking about this Reese Olson earlier. It's too much Reese Olson love in the market. Way too much. I like this play. I like what I'm seeing. Starlin Marte goes deep. Not bad. All right. We get Mets updates more than any other updates, and that's all the people need. Speaking of updates, quickly, before we run through the rest of the card, at the end of the third quarter, this cannot be real. Porter's going to shoot a couple of free throws. Bucks might still be up, but triple-double tracker Giannis, 2 dimes, 1 bound, fourth quarter. He'll play the whole quarter. Live point's not a bad idea. Wait, let's take a gander. Let's take a gander before we pass it off to the in-game live crew. I just need to know for myself. 25.5. How much is that? 9? Not bad. Not bad. Giannis should play that whole quarter. He does have 2 fouls on him, but he's going to look to stay out of foul trouble. Action outside of what's on the board. For me, I think the only thing... let's do the home runs quickly. AJ's Ozzy Albies has not started yet. And then for me, we've got Ozuna, Riley, Polanco, and Soderstrom. All right? So track those, root those, get in the mix. And then late night, Jamal Murray, James Harden. Little up fake. Not only are we rooting in the over 42.5 combined, but if Giannis can seal the deal on this triple-double, we then need 2 made threes from the following guys. Tim Hardaway Jr., who started this game 0-3, by the way. Malik Beasley, Jamal Murray, James Harden. Root in that Giannis triple-double. Root in some made threes. Root in some home runs. Root in your action. Root it all in. And root it all in while you're hanging out with the in-game live crew. They're going to take over next on SportsGrid. Kevin Walsh, I'll see you all Thursday right back here on Game Time Decisions.